welcome. This is Elite Talks. Welcome to Wednesday. This is your 4-4 portal moment. Yes, we dive in every Wednesday, just about at 4:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I, Mahatma Sarsi, share my elite conversation and help ourselves to unfold more abundantly for ourselves, for our experience, for our reality. And how we do that is we unfold a new way of receiving in our conversation. But before I'm going to dive into today's topic, I want to give you a little update about the things that I have coming up for Elite Talks. I have been in the background revamping where I really want to take Elite Talks. I've been doing it for a couple of years now, been pretty steady this year, and I want to expand it. So it's going to be a twice a month experience where it'll be 2 hours long, and we're going to have some news incorporated. We're going to have as well as a flatter battle. This is going to be hosted with one of my tribe mates who created this experience, which I think is really a rad way to flip the dynamic of how we battle rap. And it's basically, instead of the typical battle rap, it's a flatter battle. So that's going to be a cool addition to the live specials that we have here. We're going to be doing it through Zoom and streaming it through YouTube. So that way we're going to have multiple guests, multiple people coming on. I'm so excited. And then for the highlights of the reason what started Elite Talks is our Elite Conversations. And I'm going to bring to the panel two individuals who can help each other expound on a conversation without getting lost in the past. So this is going to be a great exercise for us to be able to really strengthen our muscles to be able to speak with pure integrity and wholesome standards. I like to say that, wholesome standards. And then to wrap it up, we're going to have some artists. So we're going to have some healing sounds, different variations of performance artists to bring the show to a close. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the kind of individuals that's going to come through. So it's going to be really explosive, and we want to really bring to light how much consciousness is happening all the time. So we really want to give it a place to where it can always land, and that we have a place where we can find it fresh and new. Just like we find the news that we typically watch over our lifetimes. So take a breath, because gotta take a breath. Teaching ourselves to be present and be here. Full exhales are required. Take a moment, take a breath with me. Sometimes I do feel like I'm rushed. Like, where am I going to? What is the point? And I'm like, the point is right here. So I just have to allow myself to just keep taking those breaths, keep getting those fresh thoughts so that we can push forward in our being. So one of the topics that I'm going to jump into now is the lie. It was a conversation that was brought up with me, and I feel like it's going to be a good topic because a lot of us are living in lies, right? And we are not nitpicking all of them, but some of them have specific triggers to our bodies. And in order for us to be able to move forward, we have to see why that is happening. Like, why is that lie triggering us? So ultimately, what we want to be able to do is break open what amount of lies we have accepted in our world versus the amount of lies that we don't accept in our world. And then we can begin to really step back and be more, and we could be more open-minded to how other people have to live in this same reality. So I'm gonna talk about, we can talk about some simple lies. They talk about white lies. Sometimes if you feel like somebody is not feeling well, or they don't look like the best in their emotions, right? And you ask them like, hey, what's going on? Is everything okay? And they're like, yeah, I'm okay. But they're really not. That's a lie, right? But you may or may not say something to it. But ultimately, the person who says that they're okay, even though that's not true, they're the ones that are accepting a lie in their life. And you may not accept those kind of lies for yourself, but other people do. And the way that you can balance your response to hearing someone lie is that you can think back to what you allow yourself to lie to yourself about openly to other people. And then you can have more compassion to be able to speak a more responsive response instead of than a triggered response. And that's really where we're moving into a place of conscious understanding, and when where we are lived in a world where we're unconscious, but we are very much conscious, and a lot of us are becoming even more conscious on an even higher level. So it requires us to be able to shift how we are really receiving our lifestyles, how we are moving in and out of each other's worlds, because we're all experiencing something completely, totally different. We may all be living in the same setting for our towns and different countries. People live in cities and suburbias that may all seem the same for us, but we are all not living it the same. And that's where the balance needs to come in, so that we can be able to conceptualize what someone can possibly be experiencing in their life to allow them to make the choices that they're making in front of you. And then also allows you to step back and look in your life at the choices that you're allowing yourself to make and what you have around you. Let's take another break. Before I take this breath, I'm going to share. Okay. It's so important to take breaths. I hope that you took a breath with me. And actually, I can help you to identify other ways for you to take breaths by using mudras. Some of the things that I do, you can't always see my hands, but I'll do a hand movement like this. And I'll put it like right above my solar plexus or down below, more on my groin, letting it rest on my lap. As I take the breaths, it helps me to connect to my etheric body and be able to send energetic waves out and around my body to help increase how much the body gets to benefit from these deep breaths. Because when you take deep breaths, it's like an electrical charge all through your body. So when you help touch yourself in certain hand movements and positions, this helps to increase how much that jolt moves around the body. This is what helps to massage the organs because everything is moving in through the body. So it helps you to alleviate a lot of density that's sitting in the body. It helps you to also, depending on which kind of mudra you do, it helps to work on the different chakras as well. Also, some like this. I started the video with my hands like this, and this is a unity mudra. So if you're looking to seek unity with someone before you start speaking, before you go anywhere, you can do it in front of them if you like. Bring your hands like this, take a deep breath. And yes, you can do it with two hands. I was just showing you with one. And that's the methods, the tools that we want to be able to start and practicing and embodying for us to be able to have the space and the true conscious awareness to see these things happening. Because once we step back and start realizing that about one individual, then we start realizing, wow, I have over 20 individuals that I deal with in my life on a weekly basis or daily basis. And I don't know if I've really gathered enough space to be able to really hear what people are saying. Because the next part about talking about hearing lies and what lies we accept and not accept is that we have the chance to speak to it. If it's triggering you or activating you in some sort of way, instead of it coming from a teacher moment, because a lot of us get caught up when we become so conscious that when we hear people speaking outside their vibration, that we want to immediately correct them. And as sometimes that may be helpful, it's not so much what you always want to do, because then you're not allowing yourself to have enough student experiences. So how we balance this teacher student experience is that once we realize that we're being activated, we want to go towards the student. And when we're being triggered, we want to go towards the teacher. And that's in us. And this is how we're going to be able to dance and balance the energy exchange that we're having with our own world inside. And by doing this, it's going to help us to facilitate how much someone needs to be able to have the space to do that for themselves. So when we get activated, we can become the student and ask ourselves, how can we move from this experience as if it wasn't something that bad? It's not so bad. It's a redirection. So there's something else in front of us for us to pay attention to. Maybe we want to have the space and ask the person, well, why do you want to say that lie? Do you really believe that lie? Is that lie something that you really want to keep projecting out into your reality? Because I know your world is very different from mine. And things can catastrophically happen for you much more quicker because of the invulnerability that you've created for your safety of your body. And that opens up a whole freaking conversation. So you have to make sure you have the space for this. And if you don't have the space for this, you can definitely if you feel like it's a big question for the other individual, you can definitely take yourself, once you offer that, make sure you include a boundary in that response and let them know that, if it seems like it's a lot to unfold today to talk about, like, we can definitely set up a time. Maybe we can go to the park and or the beach or by the water, the lake, to go release these sounds so that we can move forward with you. And it doesn't have to be something that you avoid in your everyday life, especially if it's something that someone may be asking you on a regular basis. Because you got to think about, if you're going to lie about this, how many times are you going to have to lie about it and keep that charade up? So that's a really big nugget. So take a breath. Ring that bell as we accept that in. You want to hear my chimes? Those are my chimes. And if you want to hear more of my music, you can always check out my podcast. It's EM Healing, and it's on Spotify, Apple Cast, Anchor, of course, because that's where I post it from, and Apple. I said Apple, Google. Yeah. You got something called Podbean or Podbean or something like that. There's some interesting names out there for podcasts, but you can definitely check out. I put a lot of sounds out along with my weekly episodes. So there's an episode that's going to be releasing until the end of this year. There's been episodes released every week for the last 3 months. So you definitely have plenty of conversation to hear me unfolding with other individuals that are coming forward to speak their healing story and willing to have a forward conversation about it. It's really interesting, the technique that falls into place. But ultimately, my biggest surrender is allowing spirit to move me forward through this transition of being teacher. So it's like, I love being the student. And I don't think how much people really know that. But I think it's because I accept myself so much as a teacher that, we don't really realize when we're allowing ourselves to be student. And it's really in our conversation, how much we really want to bring it forward. And honestly, I feel like this is the first time I've been able to express it in that format because I've been looking to see how I can really express that I'm not just being authentic, I'm being intentionally authentic, which really brings a different sharpness to your being that will definitely open up your spectrum of light for you. So if, like, say you're seeing orange, you're going to end up seeing a golden orange, So just imagine shifting yourself from that light. I can help you grow your light, but I cannot help your light look like my light. So I hope that makes sense to when we're conversing and exchanging energy with each other, because ultimately that's what matters the most, is being able to see, are you being the light or is your light needing to be brightened? And how do I move forward with brightening that light? Am I going to move forward being the teacher, or am I going to move forward being the student? And how aware am I going to allow the other individual to know that this is happening? Because we always have to consider the conscious state that another individual is at. So we have to practice this conversation vigorously with those that have the ability to open up this conversation, this method of utilizing the linguistics of being. Right? This is becoming an art of being, and it's going to be interesting once once this fire really sets loose around the world. Like, it's already burning. However, it's going to start burning much more brighter, because once we all shift to understand, I'm just searching to be the art of my being through the compilation of all the beings around me, really changes the game and pushes us to really seek an inward playground and playbook to move by. And that's the art of being. And how we do that is in our talks. So that's why we're here. We're Elite Talks. We're bringing it forward. We're bringing the conversation forward so that we no longer have to live in the past and the generations of others. They are there and we acknowledge them with love and light. And we know that they're pushing us to be our best selves, to be our best light. But ultimately, we can make the choice only of how our best light looks. And it's perceived through our eyes first, and then the eyes of others. And then hopefully, ultimately, you get to see how you are a part of all of it. And you help create how others are seen and given in life. So today's conversation has been exciting. I love hearing how it just flows. Thank you for allowing me to come through. So I'm going to take this ending part for us to share some of my crystal wisdom deck. I shuffled these cards before we started, and I always like to, what I usually do when it's close to me, I would shuffle them like every morning and I would put this on my mirror. Since I've shuffled my house around, I haven't had these so close to me. However, I was like, let me do it now. So these are the cards, the crystals that came out. I usually bring these to events when I go to events and I tell people, well, I can't possibly bring all my crystals out, but I can bring them in card form and share them with others. Okay, so this crystal is the ancient wisdom crystal. And if you want to go to the store, look for something that looks like that. And it says, I am an expression of the powerful ancient wisdom of my soul, and it guides me through life. You see, like we're already all of each other. So we do not have to relive what they relived. We have to live what we need to live, what's new for us. And then this crystal is the golden calcite, inspiration. I am inspired in all that I do. I am inspired by all that I do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm inspired by all that I do all the time. Yeah. I wake up every day, and maybe I can say that to myself more because I don't really say inspired. So maybe I can do that. Like, what do you want to inspire yourself to do today, Mahatma? I used to do that before, before the I think it's PC, right? Before the PC, Mahatma PC. And I used to like come home. I didn't wake up, but I would come home from work and be like, all right, this is my time. What do I want to do? What can I do now? I can do whatever I want. And I would figure out something to do. And I had my kids at that time too. So, I figured out something to do with them. I always took them to the park or took them somewhere to play. I thought it was really important to have them be outside and not always cooped up in the house. So I really love the flexibility that created for my children. I've created completely different children than what I've grown up from. And I feel like a lot of us are starting to realize how different our kids' lives are compared to ours. And that's freaking cool because I feel like they're going to help us through this transition like so smoothly. They already are, because you see some of the kids, they're like, this is how you turn on this on the phone and put this here and that there. And I'm like, okay, cool. Thank you for doing that. Like only my kids would know that you could put multiple fingerprints on my phone so that they can get into it. My goodness. But it's okay. It's okay. It's cool to see what they can do for us. And, that's for another topic that maybe I'll bring up next time about transitioning to be more of a child when we speak to children. automatically understanding we got to switch into student a lot of the times with the children in order for us to get through to them. And that'll be for next week's episode. But before we tap out, I'll give you one more card, which is my Buddha wisdom. And just to let you know, you can rewind this back and re-listen to those crystal affirmation cards. It's really good to repeat those. So if you liked what I had shared, you can repeat them 3 times every day and help empower yourself to truly feel the energy emanating out of you. So these are my little cute little decks. I love these because they're so easy to shuffle too. So my Buddha wisdom, I call this my divine masculine. I got 3 came out. Do I want all 3? I think I'll be nice because, spirit said to take 3. So number 1. Ooh. Let the ultimate truth be your soul food. Gather nothing. Store nothing. So if you don't know what that means, take what you need, no more, no less. This is on point. When your words are lies, where will your mischief end? Ooh, when your words are lies, where will your mischief end? It's like Spirit was like, well, if you want to ask someone about, I'll share it with you so you can screenshot it and show it. You want me to share the other one? All right, I got y'all. Let me screenshot this one too. Let's see if you got that. There you go. It's good enough for you. Now, the last one. Give thanks for what has been given to you, however little. Yes, you have to appreciate every sound that someone's giving you. You have to really, they cracked me open with that. You have to really appreciate, whether it be a lie, a truth, an indifference, you have to really love your life so much that you wrap that person up that gives you their sound and see why they're in your life, why they are speaking to you. Why did you allow them to be the person in the place for them to relay that message to you, to allow you to be activated or triggered? Now that's pure love right there for you, for your experience, for your realization. Now to take that forward and keep utilizing it consciously, you have to practice your self-care, your nourishment. You have to keep resetting yourself, rejuvenating yourself. And that requires for you to do, cleanses, isolating moments, intentional routines. Keep your mind fresh, keep your mind less full and more organized. This is going to help you move forward. And that's what I help people do. Truly. That's what I hope. I love seeing people be able to go through their cleanses and they come out and they look like a car that just came out the wash and just got finished scrubbing down all nice and shiny and stuff. Got the armor roll and the tires and they're ready to go. And I'm like, yes, 21-day cleanse does its job. So for any of you that are looking to get yourself through a cleanse, please connect with me. Check me out. I mean, I do a plethora of things, but for us to be able to maintain a clean conversation, you definitely got to clean your conversation. So, okay, I got to go. Enough for today. I appreciate you. Much love and light. Much love and light.